As soon as you drive a brand new car off the lot, it drops in value. I'm talking about plummets, 10% or more. We're talking about thousands of dollars. In today's video, we're talking about transportation and sharing our process on building wealth. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back everybody. It's Walt Marshall here with Buy and Live, where our focus is building wealth in real estate. In today's video, we are talking about transportation expenses. If you've been following our channel, you know that we are doing a Buy and Live budget challenge. Now this challenge is just, starting off the new year so that you can begin tracking your expenses, and then we'll begin budgeting. But first, just track your expenses. So budgeting worked for us. It was one of the first things we did when we got married, and it allowed us to pay down a lot of student loan debt. So transportation was one of the first categories we attacked when we first started budgeting. My wife had just purchased a car, it was like $15,000. 15 years later, we have never paid a car note. And later in this video, I'll share our strategy for purchasing used cars. So transportation is the second highest expense for most people. I read this one book by Scott Trench, and it's called Set for Life. And in his book, he makes an argument to just pretty much eliminate transportation. Now, if you look at, the way things are going in the future, like cars are becoming more expensive. You think about like Uber and Lyft, the car industry, they're not making cars less than $20,000 anymore. I saw a video, and I'll put a link to it. Sub $20,000 car was for people just starting off in life. But the problem with that was the auto manufacturers, they were not making any money on those cars. So when you think about owning a car, just think about like taxes, you think about gas and maintenance and repairs. And then you think about like if you're financing a car, then just think about the interest that you're paying on it, and insurance. It's so much to own a car. And if you have not had a chance to build any wealth, to acquire any type of assets, like all that time that it takes for you to pay off a car, then you're losing time where you can be acquiring assets. So the book Set for Life is worth a read. I highly recommend you check it out, especially because he talks about living in a duplex. It's probably one of the reasons I decided to move forward on buying a duplex after reading that book. I'll put it in the description. Feel free to check it out. So used cars have been great for our family. I've purchased 4 used cars since we've been married. I purchased a sedan, I purchased SUV, purchased a pickup truck, and I purchased a van. I purchased a minivan for our family. So like as our family was growing in size, I purchased more larger vehicles, and we still have my wife's car. Here's a Google spreadsheet that I created, and I use this every time I purchase a new car or purchase a used car. So when I'm ready to look for a used car, I look at review websites. I try to find out if there's a lot of recalls on a car, if there's a lot of problems. I want to try to avoid those types of cars. And I look for cars with higher resale value, because I want to be able to get all of my money out of the car, because I eventually will be selling this car to buy a new car. So once I've narrowed down the type of car I want to drive or the type of car I'm looking for, then I begin looking on websites like Facebook, Marketplace. I look at, Craigslist. That's like normally I go to Craigslist. So in the description below, there's the spreadsheet that I created. And what I enter is the year, the model, the price, different notes about the car. Also write down the VIN number. And the reason I use the VIN number is because I try to go to this one website and begin searching all the history on the car. It's called vehiclehistory.com. So vehiclehistory.com will tell me, the different things about the car. It tells me if it's been in accidents. It tells me if the car has had like a lot of different recalls. It tells me if there's anything going on with the title, like, if it's a salvage title. Sometimes, things happen. And then it also tells me how many owners the car has had. Now, I don't really like a car with a lot of owners because, sometimes fishy things happen. You know, I don't know. I don't trust that. Sometimes people do crazy stuff. It's easier. A few other questions I'll ask. So some listeners may not have the VIN number, but they may have contact information. And I don't really like doing text messages because if I'm exchanging money with you, I need to hear your voice. I need to know they're serious because they want to sell a car, right? Sometimes people do crazy stuff. So I try to talk to them on the phone. I try to ask a lot of questions. I try to get as much information as I possibly can before I, waste any time. I don't ask for the VIN number right away because they don't trust me. I'm just, somebody calling them and they don't even know if I'm calling about the car. Their phone is ringing and they're like, hello. I'm like, hey, I'm calling about the car. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Also, I try to buy cars from owners and not dealers. Dealers will mark the price up. Owners will be able to, negotiate a little bit more. So I try to buy cars from directly from owners. Ask questions. First question I might ask, how long have you had the car? Why are you selling the car? Can you tell me about the repair history? Can you tell me about any accident? Is there anything that needs to be repaired? Like if they have pets, because sometimes pets have, odors. I ask, are they a smoker? Those are a few other questions I ask. I want to know as much as I can about the car. Now, a lot of these questions are asked, over the phone, so I'm not wasting time. And then I'll put it in my spreadsheet. If I decide to meet with them, then I ask the same questions again. And I'm looking for consistency. And if I find anything that's wrong with the car, when I do the test drive, then I make note of that. And if it's a car that I want to purchase, then I bring up every issue that I found with the car. And then I ask, what is the lowest you'll go? And if it's an offer that I like, then I'll take it. And I'll just give them the cash. If it's a good offer, I'll just take it. But if it's not an offer I like, then I'll just say, okay, well, will you take this amount? And I just, have the cash, like, will you take this amount? And it works. Of course, I try to meet in a public place, somewhere where there's a lot of visibility, if possible, maybe even meet at like a bell tire, someplace where you can quickly get a quick inspection by a mechanic, just making sure that the car is good. It's always good to just ask about the vehicle history, like if they have receipts and if they have a repair log. Those are good things to ask for when you buy a car. Just think of it like a medical record for, a person, like you have a medical record for a car, just making sure that the car is great. For me, I think I've purchased about 9 used cars in my lifetime. That sounds a lot, but that's pretty much from high school. I've never financed a car. All my cars have been paid for in cash. I hope this was helpful. And going back to the budget, the reason we put the car in the monthly expenses is because we see the car as a liability, as holes in your pocket. And we try to reduce the size of those holes or try to eliminate the holes altogether. And because cars, especially when you're trying to build wealth and acquire assets, those cars consume a lot of, our income. Transportation is number one, it's in the top 3 of our expenses. And if we can reduce that then as much as possible, we're able to start acquiring more assets, things that will pay us. So if this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up and, feel free to subscribe. If you're interested in building wealth and following us on our journey of real estate investing, we're starting off with budgeting, of course, because this is where we first started. Owning a home is a very costly investment. And if not done right, it could set you back, decades. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.